In filmmaking, juxtaposition is everywhere. In nearly all aspects of the medium, from cinematography to soundtrack, there is an opportunity to use this fundamental technique. In this video, we'll look at a few of the countless ways juxtaposition is used in movies and see why filmmakers return to this technique time and time again. This is What is Juxtaposition? Before we get started, be sure to subscribe and click the bell to stay up to date on all things filmmaking. Sometimes juxtaposition can be gruesome, so consider this a graphic content warning. Juxtaposition refers to placing two or more elements side by side to create meaning out of their similarities or differences. The word juxtaposition comes from the Latin juxta, meaning very near, and the French position, meaning place. In some, it literally translates to place together. It can be as simple as emphasizing a difference in size, or it can be a bit more complex, as Marcel Duchamp illustrated with his piece, The Fountain. The artist put a sign urinal in an art show, juxtaposing the everyday object within the exclusive art world and challenging the viewer to question the definition of art itself. Does art have to be an object made by an artist, or can it be an artist simply provoking a thought? The tool can be used in almost any art form. In his opening sentence of Tale of Two Cities, Charles Dickens juxtaposes seemingly contradictory ideas, like the best of times and the worst of times, to illustrate the highs and lows of life.
It was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
In film, juxtaposition and mise-en-scène, sound, and editing can inform or even create larger contrasting themes, like good and evil, or rich and poor. By feeding these contrasting ideas, juxtaposition in film can be crucial in creating conflict in a story.
Well, let me get this straight. You think that killing those guys is funny?
I do.
Like placing a character in a different world, or forcing polar opposite characters to work together.
What's all this we stuff? They just want the rabbit.
In cinema, creative uses of juxtaposition allow filmmakers to make meaning without explicitly spelling it out, making it an ideal tool for a medium which thrives on showing rather than telling. Let's look at some ways juxtaposition can be used in film, beginning with mise-en-scène. Mise-en-scène refers to anything in front of the camera in a given scene. Almost all elements within mise-en-scène can contain juxtaposition.
This is just like home.
No, no, Calvin. This is different.
Characters' appearance in film utilizes this technique. By contrasting characters' wardrobe, a filmmaker can highlight the differences between them. In Snowpiercer, Bong Joon-ho and costume designer Catherine George illustrate higher and lower classes through costume. When juxtaposed in the same scene, the different outfits emphasize the disparity between the haves and the have-nots.
Oh, I love that woman.
Curtis wears tattered workwear, while Wilford is adorned in a luxurious robe. The contrast illustrates the different lifestyles the two characters lead.
Curtis, everyone has their preordained position, and everyone is in their place except you.
A classic use of the juxtaposition in character appearance can be found in romances, where the two characters physically seem incompatible. This contrast in physicality can quickly allow a filmmaker to establish a conflict for the romance to come. When we see Belle and the Beast together, we can surmise that the two romantic interests are very different. A difference that is highlighted by the juxtaposition within the film's title.
Beauty and the Beast.
Setting, too, can employ juxtaposition. In Edward Scissorhands, director Tim Burton juxtaposes his titular character with an idyllic suburbia.
Oh!
Here, the set design is bright and colorful, Edward dresses in black. The contrasting aesthetic of the two highlights Edward's outsider status.
No matter what, Edward will always be special.
In Up, Carl's quaint house is abutted by massive construction projects, emphasizing that the world is moving on without him.
Quite a sight, huh, Ellie?
Juxtaposition can also be found within props. This can be used to efficiently create characterization, like in Lethal Weapon 2. By putting a cigarette next to a no smoking sign, we see that Riggs, quite simply, is a maverick.
You know what that says?
Yeah, same thing as that, but I don't give up.
In American Psycho, the characters compare business cards, which, when juxtaposed with one another, look nearly identical, making the competition seem ridiculous and heightening the satire of the scene.
Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my God. It even has a watermark.
Lighting, too, can utilize juxtaposition.
Don't lie to me.
By opposing highlights with shadows, a cinematographer can create a moody frame filled with mystery, as is exemplified in film noirs.
I take him to the doctor.
For more on this style of lighting, watch our video on chiaroscuro. In Lord of the Rings, highlights and shadows are meant to represent the battle of good and evil. And when the two are placed together, the audience expects a tonal shift, or a conflict of ideals. Films can also juxtapose color. In Star Wars, different colored lightsabers represent different sides of the Force. And when the colors are in the same space, conflict is imminent. In Pleasantville, color is used within a largely black and white palette to indicate when a character has started to think for themselves, rather than adhere to the grayscale conformity. Other elements of cinematography can utilize juxtaposition, such as framing. Placing a character next to negative space, for example, can indicate loneliness, especially when it's directly compared to a similar framing where the space is filled. Size is also a common way to use juxtaposition. In Jojo Rabbit, an exaggerated difference in height creates an immediately evident power dynamic.
I see.
Juxtaposition isn't confined to a film's mise-en-scène, however.
You look lonely. I can fix that.
The technique can also be found in a movie's sound and music. Sound in film lends itself to juxtaposition, since it is almost always placed in combination with images. But there are plenty of ways for filmmakers to put sound and visuals together to create unexpected meaning. It's no secret that music choices inform how we perceive a scene. The Shining's opening provides a famous example of the power of musical juxtaposition. Without the score, there isn't much scary about the mountain landscape, but with it, we are filled with dread. Meanwhile, Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs uses an upbeat song over disturbing visuals. This unexpected use of music makes the perpetrator all the more intimidating. To him, acts of violence are a walk in the park. Sound design, too, can create additional meaning out of juxtaposition. The contrast can be as simple as loudness and quiet, as Sound of Metal illustrates. The cacophony of noise juxtaposed with a peaceful silence indicates Ruben has finally come to terms with his deafness. In Blade Runner 2049, sound design elevates the tension of a scene.
I don't mind the dirt. I do mind unannounced visits.
Kay's interrogation to determine if Sapper is an android is underlined with the sound of boiling water, creating the feeling that Sapper is about to explode.
Are you Sapper Morton? Civic number NK68514.
I'm a farmer.
If you could just look up and to the left, please.
Dialogue 2 can be used in juxtaposition. In The Godfather, we hear a priest baptize Michael's child as we watch various executions he's ordered take place. This pairing gives new meaning to the priest's monologue.
Do you renounce Satan?
I do renounce him.
Michael is being reborn as the new Don of the Corleone family.
And all his pomps?
I do renounce them.
Once we hear Michael's dialogue renouncing sin, the visuals provide a dark irony.
Michael Rizzi, will you be baptized?
I will.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Michael Rizzi, go in peace, and may the Lord be with you. Amen.
Similarly, placing narration over visuals can provide a third, separate meaning that wouldn't be inferred from just one or the other. In Trainspotting, Danny Boyle and screenwriter John Hodge use narration to highlight disillusionment with the consumerist status quo. Renton's narration lists all of the choices you're supposed to make to be a good citizen.
Choose life, choose a job, choose a career, choose a family, choose a f***ing big television, choose washing machines, cars, compact displays and electrical tin openers.
And the visuals show us that he's made none of those choices.
I chose not to choose life. I chose something else. And the reasons? There are no reasons. Who needs reasons when you've got heroin?
In Adaptation, screenwriter Charlie Kaufman uses narrator juxtaposition for comedy.
I should just go and knock on her door right now and kiss her. It would be romantic. Something we could someday tell our kids.
Saying one thing,
I'm gonna do that right now.
And doing the opposite. Like with sound, juxtaposition can be inherent to editing. When an editor cuts two shots together, there's an ample opportunity for contrast. But different types of cutting techniques can imbue different meanings.
Scott! What? You only played one note for that entire song.
Cross-cutting juxtaposes two or more different scenes, encouraging the viewer to compare and contrast them.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Take a walk with me.
I have too much work.
It's the first snow.
Yeah, I know, but they're waiting on me.
Come on, Tommy.
Please, Izzy.
In Rocky IV, cross-cutting is used to emphasize the difference between characters. By repeatedly juxtaposing Rocky's training routine with Drago's, director Sylvester Stallone is able to highlight Rocky's underdog status. Juxtapositions in editing can be made even more obvious with a match cut, which refers to cutting between two shots with similar compositions. In Tarzan, a match cut juxtaposition is used to show the universality of a mother's love. In Grease, a match cut is used to show the stark contrast between fantasy and reality.
Come on, guys, let's get to work. Yeah!
A dissolve can also provide an opportunity for comparison. In Apocalypse Now, Francis Ford Coppola juxtaposes images of war over Willard's face, visually illustrating the chaos going on in Willard's head. In Ghost Dog: The Way of the Samurai, Jim Jarmusch places a flying pigeon over Ghost Dog, emphasizing his love of birds and his Zen lifestyle. Smash cuts use juxtaposition to highlight extreme differences, and usually use a contrast in sound to further heighten the cut.
In all cases, people receiving bites have experienced headaches and nausea and developed symptoms similar.
The smash cut is often used for comedic effect. In Thor Ragnarok, writer-director Taika Waititi uses a popular smash cut technique, placing a scene with a character saying they won't do something next to a scene with them doing exactly the thing they said they wouldn't do.
We are not doing Get Help.
Get help! Please! My brother's dying! Get help! Help him!
Oh, classic. Still hate it? It's humiliating.
No, not for me, it's not.
Split screens can also directly contrast two ideas. In Euphoria, a split screen juxtaposes the routines of two characters, emphasizing the similarities and differences of their days. In 22 Jump Street, a split screen with vastly different visuals highlights the two very different experiences each character is having on drugs.
You should come over here. It's way better. Okay.
Perhaps the most powerful use of juxtaposition in editing can be found in intellectual montages. The technique was coined by Soviet filmmaker Sergei Eisenstein. In October, Eisenstein juxtaposes images of deities and military garb to heighten the absurdity of blind faith, whether it be in a god or a country. V for Vendetta uses intellectual montage to quickly convey a wide-ranging revolution. Director James McTeague juxtaposes footage of protests with falling dominoes, indicating that everything is interconnected and that this is just the beginning. A smart editor is always aware of how the shots they put together will interact. This requires having a nuanced understanding of juxtaposition. Since its beginning, cinema has used juxtaposition in a variety of forms. Carefully thought out comparisons can deliver meaning without explicitly saying it. In other words, good juxtaposition is just good filmmaking. Deliberate juxtaposition means lots of planning. Plan your next film with Studio Binder's storyboard software. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to stay up to date on all our filmmaking videos. Until next time, remember, what you set together just might set you apart.